Welcome back to Community Matters. We're talking foster care, and joining me now are foster parents George and Edna Marshall. To both of you, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Pleased to be here.
Well, I got to tell you, I got to ask the obvious question: why? What motivated you to become foster parents?
My mother died, and her best friend had been foster parent for 18 years. And she had been asking us, after we retired in 2005, we were going from one room to another, and we would do a vacation theme, stay there for a month. And we got tired of not doing anything constructive. And my wife says one night about 2 o'clock, said, let's do it. I said, what? She said, let's go take that training for foster care. And I said, okay, well, let's go do that. And we decided, there's about 43 people taking the training. I think we were the only 2 that chose teenagers. And we chose to do teenagers exclusively because you got a small window. When we get them to either 13 or 14 most of the time, they're out by 18, so you got to change life patterns, put thoughts in their heads about jobs, school, and so they're molded by the time they get to us. So the first thing they got to do is says, you're not our parents, you know, and we glad we get 18. So it's 2 things that we had to learn to do is teach them that you got to forgive, and at the same time, we're not trying to be your parents. But we would tell them, if you give us a half a damn chance, we'd come pretty close. And we started developing that rapport, and we keep them busy. You know, we get them jobs, go to school, and we just talk about it. We don't demand anything, but we canvass colleges. We do what it is because we know that at 18, if you don't have them going, there's always a place already prepared.
Yeah.
You know, and I came over there by such a prison to see it. Because that don't have to be, you know, but that's what we do. And so we decided to do it, and we had been doing it for a long time and didn't know they called it foster care, because we had a lot of young men and women from Shaw and St. Aul that we had 20, 30 in our house every weekend, you know, entertain them, trying to keep them going. And we just said, well, it can't be no different. That's how we ended up doing foster care.
Well, how many, Edna, do you have in your home at a time? 1, or do you have more than 1?
Usually we have 5.
5.
Mm-hmm. If we have less than 5, it's
Wait,
because
so 5 teenagers in your home at one
5
time?
teenagers. Right now we have a 13-year-old boy, a 15-year-old boy, a 16-year-old girl, a 16-year-old boy, and an 18-year-old boy. So we have our hands full.
I was going to say.
And every one of them, they're active. They either play football or track team, basketball, and so they keep us running. Meeting here, meeting there, going to the doctor's office, just something. But we enjoy it. We enjoy it.
How do you, and I have to ask because you have them in your home, what, 3, 4 years, right? How do you let go? Because at some point you do develop a relationship, and I imagine you do love these kids.
Yes, yes.
How do you say goodbye to them?
Technically, you don't. And the reason why I say that, because at Christmas time, we usually have 2/3 of those who left back. I mean, we don't really just come, you know, because it's always going to be home to them. They won't tell you that. But when they leave, it's always home. They either calling or they come back. Let me give you an example of one now. He went to North Carolina Central for a year. Then we brought him and we went to Wake Tech for a year. And he came in one day and said, told my wife, plus he had a car, he had a job, I'm leaving. And he up and left. And so next thing we know, about 6 or 7 months later, he's downtown homeless. And so it's been about 2 or 3 years, but he called me every 2 weeks with a different story. Let me have $5, let me have 10. So I told my wife, she said, why you do that? I said, well, that's my way to see how he doing.
Oh.
You know, and to keep up with him, you know, so he needs something to hold on to. So it ain't about the money. He say that because, you know, I come, you know, and see how he doing. But you really never let go because they won't let you let go. It's, the difference being with a small child, they have a tendency they can move on and you know, she had one about 4 years old, broke her heart. She just knew that we would have adopted her.
Yes.
But she went to her mother, and I said, give them 6 weeks, she'll be back in care. Sure enough, she was back in.
Oh. How do you deal with that? Because they're coming from some pretty tough situations. How do you get past the challenges? Because this scars children, doesn't it?
It does, and it's hard. It's hard. I'm a lovey, touchy person, but a lot of kids, they don't like being touched or showing too much affection. So sometimes you have to kind of hold back, or you got to know the child to realize, to understand, what it is they need from you, and when they want you to kind of back up a little bit. But back to, it's hard to let go. And the first time, my little girl you spoke about, and that broke my heart when she left. But after that, you kind of realize that they're not here to stay. They didn't come with you to stay. They came with you for you to stand in and do the best for them, while they're getting ready to go back to their parents, if they go back. So we have to always remember that they're not here to stay. They're just here until situations can get straight so that they can go back to the parents. And looking at it that way, then you don't really hold on that tight.
You can kind of prepare for that. We have like a minute left. And what would you say to folks who are watching? I know the need is great, especially for teenagers. What would you say to them to motivate them to also become foster parents?
Well, I would tell them that they too, were once a teenager. And think about what you needed when you were a teenager, whether you were with your grandparents, your parents, aunt, uncle. There was something or someone provided something in your life that inspired you to be here. And so it's the same thing now. They're no different from you, no different than you. But they go through the same thing you went through. So one day you may be old, they may be the only one bringing a glass of water, because that's just the way it is. And you never know whether they're going to be a lawyer, doctor, teacher, preacher, whatever. But the thing of it is, the Bible says you come to the Father through His children, and we believe that.
Well, bless you both for what you do. That is quite something. There aren't many people who are willing to do that. I hope there are more now, having heard your story. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
I appreciate it. Thanks for being here today, and we'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us and educating us on the benefits of becoming a foster parent. We hope you enjoyed the show, and if you'd like to view previous episodes, you can visit RaleighCW.com and myrdctv.com. Thank you for watching Community Matters, and we'll see you next week.